Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, people of all ages, welcome back to the Sticky Floors podcast. I am one of your hosts, CJ. I am joined by Mr. Will. Tonight, we are covering the movie Into Deep. We're taking it back to 1999.
Mm.
1999 flow, man, when hip hop was on top. I guess hip hop is back on top though now, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's weird,
what I'm
man.
saying? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like Back to the Future, man.
hmm
That's where it is, man. But yeah, so we got this going on tonight. Mr. Will, what's up with you, man? How you doing?
Oh man, I'm feeling great, man. I'm really excited to get into this joint. But not because I think this is a classic or anything, but it's very inspiring as far as like the questions and the things that it evokes, man. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a joint. Into Deep is one that I think we talked about doing it for a while, and
Yeah.
then the stars kind of aligned where the clips just came out. You know what I mean? Raekwon just
hmm
dropped this week.
Yep.
You know
Yep.
what I mean? Giving me visions of the purple tape. You know what I mean? So so it's like this is like the perfect time to do this
yeah.
particular one, man. So I'm looking forward to it. If this is your first time with Sticky Floors, we welcome you to the experience. We want you to subscribe right away, whether you are on listening to this on our Apple Podcast network or on Spotify, or if you're watching this on YouTube, where you can see Mr. Will with the straight fitted on, man, like taking it all the way back to the 1990s. But yeah, definitely please subscribe so that way you will get these drops as they come out. This time we're covering something from 1999. Last week we covered something that just came out. Superman, the Man of Steel is out
Mm.
there, man. If you want to definitely get a maybe somewhat controversial take on the movie, check out our review of that one. But yeah, this is a little bit much more grounded story, man. Ain't no Supermans in these projects, man. Might might be a god, but no Superman. So that's where that is, man. So I'm gonna kick it over to my man, Mr. Will, to run
oh
it down the
man.
summary so we can jump into this.
Yeah, CJ, thank you for that. Man. Oh man, you guys have no idea how hilarious CJ is. Credit to that brother, man. I really think that he missed his calling. He should definitely be on tour.
Oh man, thank you, man.
But with
Appreciate
that
that.
being said,
The 20 is on the way.
yeah, man.
I'm gonna cash app it to you right now, man. You gonna hear that chime while you while you're reading, man.
The crime thriller Into Deep stars Omar Epps as Jeff Cole, a rookie Cincinnati police officer who goes undercover in order to infiltrate a powerful drug empire led by Dwayne Giddens, played by LL Cool J. The film explores the moral dilemmas and psychological toll of undercover work as Jeff navigates a dangerous world of crime and violence. Jeff finds himself slipping deeper into the criminal persona than he ever anticipated, as his loyalties blur, the line between duty and identity fades. Jeff begins to question whether he's still in control and a cop pretending to be a criminal, or an up and coming kingpin who's a criminal impersonating a cop.
Yeah, there it is, man. And this movie, man, this is a story that I think we will continue to see in movies and television shows forever. Of
Mm-hmm.
just the undercover cop that gets in too deeply and kind of blurs the allegiances. It's
Yeah.
it's a it's a compelling story that I think works no matter how many times it's been done. And I know it's been done with like Deep Cover
Yeah.
and other movies like that, but it works because I think it has this way of making it where you can understand how the character gets there. So in this case, like Jeff Cole, like Omar's character, you can see how he gets kind of into it because he really becomes a different person. And the movie does such a good job of showing, and Omar Epps does a great job of showing
Yeah.
like the difference between Jeffrey Cole, the cop, and Jay Reed, the drug dealer from Akron. Akron.
Yeah, act Ron. And like, what do you do out there? Grow corn? What is it?
You're
Pick
right,
corn?
right. They drag him the whole movie, right?
But at the same token, I think that they understand that he's a one of them, if not
Yeah,
even more so. And this
yeah.
is a very cutthroat world. You know, it's either kill or be killed, as evident by the scene where Sticky Fingers and his man try to
Oh,
basically
right,
yap him in the stairwell.
right.
Um, and I think that that's another shot. This I mean, I can't resist. But one of the things I really liked about the movie is the cast, because it had
Yeah.
every rapper that you could think
How
of
about that? How
that
about it?
like
Yep.
was hot at that time or who was steadily transitioning into becoming an actor. So you got Sticky Fingers,
Yep.
LL, Nas makes a cameo.
Yep.
And
Jermaine
JD, yeah,
Dupri is in there, right?
and he played a pretty reasonable,
Right.
rational
Um,
depiction of a greasy cat.
right.
Remember them
Right.
jewels I was telling you about?
Right.
Yeah,
Shiesty Melvin.
yeah.
Shiesty Melvin. Yeah.
So I really liked it for a multitude of reasons. Like
Yeah.
the guy.
Shaheem. Shaheem's
Oh
also in there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I can't forget.
Shaheem the
Yeah,
Rugged
shout out to the
Child. Right.
Woo.
Come on,
Yeah,
man.
I can't even
Right.
forget that. At the same token, you know what I mean? Like it even had guys that you would later go to see who become memes or who are in the wire. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
My
so,
man Weebay.
yeah. So it's like, oh, okay. Or even his man who became his child's godfather. He was a fashion model or something like that. I can't think of who's.
Frisco. Yeah. In
Yeah,
the movie
Frisco.
Frisco. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He was on some jean ad or whatever that I happened to come across in a magazine. I think it might have been like either the Source or triple or double XL. Um, but either way, like you see these people and you're like, oh, I remember him. I've seen her before, whatever. Especially Nia Long.
Man.
Like
Nia
or
Long.
even Stanley Tucci. You know what I mean? Like I
Yes.
was really surprised to see him in there.
Yep.
Uh, but all in all, I was really impressed. I mean, this is like the third time I've probably seen this since
Mm-hmm.
'99.
Yeah.
So it's been a minute.
Yeah, and it's very grounded in like the culture because hip hop isn't just the music, but it's also the attitude, it's also the clothes. And it's
Hmm.
like when I was watching it, I just appreciated the authenticity they put into just how people dress. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And just this idea of even though the movie is set up in Cincinnati, which I love that by the way, there's a certain like cultural vibe that happens that
Mm.
maybe to some extent every project is the same a little. You know what I mean? The people in the projects is the same a little.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and it's like there's a program. Ironically, there's like a program going on that kind of makes everybody be the same way to the
Picture that.
detriment, right? To the
Picture that.
detriment of maybe everyone. But it's like it's just so it just feels so authentic. You know what I mean? It feels like someone looked at thought the story. They took the story, they put it into this context, and it all meshes. There's a lot of authenticity in the film, and that just comes through right away.
I also like the fact that it talks about like how guys during that period they wouldn't just stay stationary; they would go to other states in
Hmm.
order to do their thing. I'm not by no means whatsoever am I condoning the behavior,
Of
but
course not.
the authenticity to which you're speaking to is, guys would literally who were in the tri-state area, they would spread out. They would go
Hmm.
down south or they would go to the Midwest, wherever there was some type of territory that was virgin.
Untapped. Yeah,
Yes,
untapped territory,
yeah,
right. New
yeah.
markets.
Yes. Business expansion.
Yeah, expansion of operations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I definitely could appreciate that realism, that aspect as well. Another thing too is it delved into the psychological aspect of what these individuals who go undercover have to deal with, how they
Yes.
may
Very
lose
strong
themselves
theme.
or their composure, and how they may have to be taken off of the case in order to get some perspective. Get some downtime, get some counseling, actually go through the process of healing, what we call now mental health. But no, these are different groups that you may come across where it's just strictly guys who are in this field who can, actually explain what it is that they go through. And even him being a newcomer, they even highlight that where they say, hey, you're just fresh off of a case. Maybe you can give a new set of eyes. These are grizzled veterans here. Hey, you newcomer who's also a rookie or no longer a rookie, a second year guy, let me know what's really going on right now, something up to date.
Yeah, I mean, and the psychological aspect is tapped into in this movie, and it also ends up being a really big part of The Departed,
Yeah,
which is also like
yeah.
kind of once again that movie where you get somebody undercover. In that case, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. But
Hmm.
Omar Epps does a great job with this. And the thing is, unlike The Departed, actually, you see the difference between Jeffrey Cole and Jay
Yeah.
Reed.
Hmm.
Like he become like, I know they got my man Omar Epps with that wig on, but it's like then when you see
Detestable.
him, what I mean, with the glasses and little goatee, bald head, like he assumes a completely different persona. And like you said, to your point, the psychological strain of not only pretending to be somebody, but to actually become a different person altogether is like Gotta be. It's got to create almost like a level of schizophrenia for the person that's going through it.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that really really had me engaged in the movie is that Stanley Tucci at each step of the way as Preston always says like, "Oh, hey, so really that's what you really think? Oh,
Yes.
give it some
Yes.
time. Come back to me and let's revisit this." Or
Hmm.
he'll say like, "I really think that you should go call her,
Yeah.
and just hear her voice." Like he doesn't condemn him, and he doesn't sit there and blast him and sit there and roast him about this is what you're doing wrong, et cetera, et cetera.
Hmm.
But at the same token, he says just enough that'll induce whatever reaction that he's really trying to elicit, i.e., go call her. And he
Yeah.
does. He sees her in person.
Yeah. The Stanley Tucci character Preston does a great job of not only being Jay Reed's handler,
Mm-hmm.
but also coming across as somebody who really cares about him as
Yes.
a person.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it works because he, in many ways, in the beginning of the movie, he's like an anchor
Mm-hmm.
to J. Cole, to Jeff back to the real world, and then
Mm-hmm.
later on, it kind of becomes Myra, played by Nia Long, and as you know, Nia Long is never wrong in any movie. So any movie that you put Nia Long in, it's going to be better as a result. So I was really happy to see her show up in this as well, because then she becomes like that anchor between like the person that he really is
Mm-hmm.
and the person that he has to become in order to be around these thieves and killers and gangsters that are a part of God and his disciple, what is God and his angels.
First of all, CJ and I are in the pre-production meeting, and I told him like I had some strong reservations to even calling this dude that because I'm like
Hmm.
that is so teetering on the line, not even like
No,
disrespect,
that's straight up blasphemy, man.
blasphemy. Yeah, like I'm
No,
like,
no, it is. It is.
come on, like I don't know if I could do that. But then I'm like, all right, there are dudes out there who are arrogant enough to say, hey, yo, no, I am the alpha and
Yeah.
omega of this thing right here. And
Hmm.
they're indulging in hedonism or some type of criminal behavior. And it's like, nah. And the irony is not lost upon me because I'm like, humans lie to God all the time.
Hmm.
They lie to themselves. They'll lie to others. So what makes you think you any different? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they lie to God.
Yeah, but the real God don't necessarily cut your tongue out, or put you on
Or or
a pool
sodomize you
table and
with
sodomize you. Right, right. My gosh,
and he
that
even
was
says it like,
horrible.
"Oh, you must be thinking, yo, he's messed up, man. He got his man over
Right.
here on the pool
Oh
table."
man. Oh man.
That graphic scene though, it really like when I first saw this movie when it came out in '99, it really intimidated and shocked me because I,
Torturous. Right.
I hadn't seen anything on that level. I mean, and
Right.
the rationale that it was a great foreshadowing because he's like, "Yo, and he was the one who was explaining it. It's not about just beating a man. A man can take a beating." And it makes me think of people I know that would prefer physically attack them versus the psychological attacks that they
Humiliation
undergo.
part
And but
attached to it. Yeah.
now, yeah, but now it's compounded with, hey, I am your best friend. We go back to Jersey, and then we came out here together to start this thing. You're my subordinate, but you're also my child's godfather.
Hmm.
You were hollering or trying to holler at my woman. You didn't
Yeah.
think she would tell me that's my wife.
Yeah.
So what do you think I'm gonna do? And I don't even
Yeah.
know why dude would even try and play that game. Yeah, I
Well,
was.
there was a little foreshadowing. If you the first time
Yeah,
they
yeah,
introduce, well, one of the times when Jay Reed meets Dwayne Giddens in the movie, you kind of see Frisco talking to his girl,
yeah. When they're at
and
the
it's like, and
fair or
she kind of
whatever.
like waves him off, like
Hmm.
kind of like, "Yeah, what you saying?" So it was a nice little foreshadowing thing because
Yeah,
it's not like beating you over the head. But when you remember that scene, then you go
mm.
back and you're like,
Yeah. They planted the
oh,
seed. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah, they did.
that was very skillful, by the way. Good way for
Yeah,
you to point that out too,
yeah,
CJ.
very well. They caught that up. And here's the thing, man. Yo, shout outs to LL. I'm gonna get to him in the cake part, but what I really liked about LL here is I think there's sometimes where initially, like when you see like a rapper in a movie, they have a tendency to play a character that sort of fits along with their rap persona.
Yeah, they're saying like, "Hey, you're just playing yourself."
Yeah, yeah, right. But
Yeah,
LL is known for like, being like the smooth,
yeah,
cool dude. And in this, he's a menace. He's a menacing
yeah,
person. And shout out to him for being that way because when you watch it, one of the strengths of his portrayal is that there's moments where he is like the charming, smooth, kind of
The one
debonair
you
Ella
know.
Cool J that you know. But
Hmm.
then he's got this other part that's like a real sadistic maniac kind of part
Dude.
that like that flip when that flip switches, you can see why people are afraid of the character in that movie.
And he even tells him in the car, towards the end of the movie, where he's like, yo, you stood up to a lot of people. You even stood up to me. Like that
Yeah,
was like the chip in, like that was like the final feather in the cap, where it's like, man, you really proved yourself. I no longer doubted who you were. And the fact that he comes back to it several times when he's in the park,
yeah,
telling him like, hey, we need to do this together now. I haven't had anyone since Frisco that was close to me that I could really rely upon in this game. And I think that's
yeah,
the other thing too. The camaraderie that these guys have under these intense confines and situations that they find themselves in, it's almost like they crave it. It's the
yeah,
only resemblance to family that they have, even though they know that they're destroying families. That's
yeah,
also part of the ironic thing with this whole him calling himself God and these are his angels. You're
yeah,
trying to help families, yet you're destroying families. The
yeah. It's a paradox.
it's yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, at the same token, it's very necessary because
Hmm.
how do they rationalize doing this in and then same time giving out Thanksgiving dinners like that scene he has with Shaheem where he's saying like, no, you're gonna feed everybody or
Everybody
else
gets a plate. Yeah,
you're not gonna be opening Christmas gifts. Like
yeah,
that twist right there, and he says Christmas intentionally, and he's
yeah,
calling himself God.
yeah. It's a great thing. And to that point, I mean, I've watched this movie several times. I didn't know how much this movie is actually based on a true story. So
There you
I
go.
did so like finding out that the character in this case, Ella Cool J's character Dwayne Giddens, is at least in some ways loosely based on a real life person named Daryl Whiting,
Mm,
who is responsible or was responsible for pushing major drugs in Orchard Park in Massachusetts, and that person actually ended up going to jail because of a undercover officer that infiltrated his operation, and then ironically later committed suicide after the case was done, and Daryl Whiting went to jail. I never knew that backstory. So the authenticity of it is both cultural in the sense of it's very grounded in modern 1999 hip hop culture, but then it's also very based in this real life scenario of what happened. And the way that the writing, it just reinforms the writing, and I think for me it's actually made me like kind of rediscover the film in a completely different way, not only looking at it as like a narrative story which works all the time, but then being also seeing it be loosely autobiographical or loosely biographical just took it up to a whole nother level of interesting.
you know what? Kudos to you for even bringing that out because I didn't even know that. To be honest with you, I knew it was
Check it
loosely
out.
based, but I didn't
Yeah.
know about Daryl Whiting and
Hmm.
his demise and things of that nature. Like I was really surprised. So
Yeah, yeah, I was like, wow. And then I actually started like doing more research into that person and just kind of seeing that. Like that was
mm,
yeah, it's a very interesting thing, man. And to find out that once again, the undercover police officer actually ended up committing suicide
that's
3 years
powerful.
after this, right? I almost like I need to say allegedly committed
Yeah,
suicide,
yeah, yeah.
but at
Allegedly.
least that is reported. After this, because of the psychological strain of having to be undercover, build these relationships with these people, and then testify against them in court.
And that in itself is powerful. I mean, I think that's almost as nerve wracking, if not more, than the
Right.
actual infiltration process. Because now you got to see these people eye to eye, and they may not say anything to you, but you can only imagine what's going through their heads. Hey, you met my family. I broke
Right.
bread with you. I invited you into my home. How
Right.
could you do this? And then, not realizing, like, no, this is my job to do this. My job was to take you down by any means, even if it
Yeah.
meant to lie or to do these things to have you feel a certain way. And that brings me to my point of when he was first starting out, Jay was going to the Spanish speaking people's
Yeah.
houses,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
sitting
Good
there and he
scene.
was like, "Hey, look, this girl. What's going to happen to her when we take down the
Yes. Yeah.
family?
The caring for them.
She's
Yep.
not complicit in any crimes. Well, if she's as clean as you say she is, she'll be all right." And then all of a sudden, fast forward, he's walking out the door after the bus. and then he sees the look on that young girl's face, and
The
she's
sister,
dancing,
yeah,
and it's etched into his soul where it's like, yo, you did this to my family. You broke up. Not that the
yeah,
family shouldn't have been committing crimes. No, you broke up my family.
yeah,
You did this to me. Now my whole other world is in turmoil and chaos. And
yeah.
then fast forward, her friend is in the lounge. Yeah, I'd be like, yo, didn't you get enough of being around these type of people in this element?
No,
No,
no.
which only reinforces the whole stereotype that girls like bad guys, like they like
Yeah.
the bad boy.
Yeah, man, and the Jay Reed part, and that's the other thing, man. The character is fleshed out really well because, like you said, that early scene shows you that he has a proclivity towards compassion for the collateral damage of his work.
Yeah.
Like he's fine, like he says, I'm fine if they go to jail. I'm fine if the mom go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
But the girl in college, she's like, she's okay, and they're
Mm.
like, nah. If they all in the same house,
Yeah.
everybody goes, everybody's going down, and it's like, and one of the things
She.
one of the things I like about the film is it never makes any of the anyone in LL's organization even a tragic hero or a
No.
tragic villain. They are
Yeah.
squarely like, no, these were bad people,
They are bad people.
and the cops are squarely like, they're bad people.
Mm-hmm.
Like yo, you and Jay Reed is the one who stand in the middle, kind of waver and back and forth, but the lines are very clearly drawn, you know what I mean? So it's like, I like the way that's written. My One of my knocks on movies, a lot of movies now, and I know we talk about this all the time, is like there's almost like there's a fear of making a bad guy be a bad guy anymore. Like
Mm.
every bad guy, like they're bad, but you don't understand they weren't loved as a child, or they grew up in this type of house and now they're like, dog, no, they could just be a monster. Like, I like that they don't do that with LL's character. They don't try to. He doesn't have a scene where he's like, yeah, I grew up, my dad wasn't there. You know what I mean? I had to go out and make money, right? Like that story that we tell, that people tell, that we believe, that
Mm-hmm.
somehow justifies you being running a criminal organization that, as you said, destroys the families of people around you. Come on, man.
But tied into that too is the other thing. Well, if he didn't have to sell drugs, he would have been a brilliant
Yeah, he read it
CEO.
right. Yeah, right. Run a Fortune 500 company.
Because
Yes,
that
I always
parallels
say
the
that.
same as, oh, the dude who's real nice at street ball, he could have made the league. No, he couldn't.
Mhm.
No, he
Yes.
couldn't. There's a deviation. There's levels to this. Those
Hmm.
guys who make it to the league, yes, there may be some luck involved. There may be some coddling, and there may be someone who tutors them and takes them under the wing who has the connections. But at the same token, they have discipline. They
Yeah.
have a mentality where they do the things that are called upon at that particular time. So you can't stay out all night and not take care of your body and adhere to a strict nutritional diet. You can't not say, hey, I'm going to neglect my education altogether. No, you just don't get into college. And I know
Yeah.
that's changed now with the whole portal and kids going from high school to Nike camp or whatever have you in the
Yeah.
AAU
Lot
circuit.
lot of money in that now.
Yeah.
Lot more money now.
But I use that parallel to say this, these excuses that, most communities create in order to almost justify the foul behavior. This movie makes no apologies whatsoever. They clearly and distinctly, to your point, say, no, these individuals are bad. So, Hassan Jones, aka Weebay, as Latik, you know, no, he says it like, nah, man, we put in work. We do this thing. We've been doing it since middle school all the way up to now. They feel like this is their graduate program and their
Right.
doctoral thesis, And another thing too that I really like, going back to something you said, was not only did they have all these familiar faces like Maya in this movie, but
Yeah, it's
the
his little
roles that,
sister, right? Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
right.
but the roles that they're cast in fits them perfectly. So
Yeah.
whoever was, the casting director for this, brilliant job to them as well. Kudos to them.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. I mean, like it's like I said, there's a real an intentionality of making the movie feel authentic that
Yes.
goes throughout it. And the thing is, man, even the part like with God and the Thanksgiving thing, it reminds me of that Nas line when he like says like such and such and such about the street legends and the drugs kept the hood
Mm,
from starving. And it's like there's that scene where LL and Omar Epps are in the car, and he's saying like black people need to feel like we're a part of
something that,
something.
yo,
You know what I
very
mean? And
prophetic.
it's very very psychological, right? We need to feel like we're a part of something, so I gave them God, right? Which is really deep,
He's
a lot, a whole bunch of levels. But it's like there's this idea of within the Black community, we feel often so many times forgotten by the broader society, and we feel exploited, and we want to see someone who takes care of us. And sometimes we're willing to accept that person taking care of us, even if they're harming us at the same time,
mm,
because we also have this abusive relationship with the broader society that also
mm,
sometimes takes care of us, but also abuses us. So it's like you kind of just trade up what the oppressor looks like. So like in many ways, this character of God, ironically, in this movie is as much or as vile an oppressor as the broader society is that even creates the system where these projects exist in the first place. Don't give me the golf clap for that. Oh
that
man, let's get don't give
wow,
me the golf clap for that, man.
wow.
Let come on, man. People been saying that since the '90s. People been saying that's nothing new, man.
No,
That's
they
almost
may
like the
have put their
supreme
own spin.
mathematics, man.
They may have
That's
put their
almost
own
like
spin on
math.
it. Oh, even he ties it in with the nation of the gods and earth by
Come on, man.
supreme.
People of the
Look,
universe, man.
people may have said what you said in other ways, but that was very eloquent. That was very poignant, and that was very on point. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
But yeah, man, let's get into the next segment of the
Let's get
show.
it. Yeah, let's get into the cake, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
let me run down. I'll run down my things first because a lot of
Yes,
these is
please.
basically what I was saying anyway. So first and foremost, man, yo, LL, just shout outs to LL. The way that he
Mm-hmm.
just carried himself throughout the film. Just a magnificent performance. And people always say they love playing the bad guy because you can do more with it. And I actually read a couple of things where he said he loved playing this character because it just gives you the ability to be ruthless in a way that you can't usually do in real life or normal life. And I just thought he was great in it. I also thought Omar Epps never shrunk in those moments. Like he always held
Mm-hmm.
his frame too as an actor. So I really appreciate it. Really like that. Nia Long, just like I said, Nia Long is never wrong. Always put her in everything. She makes things better. But she also has like this way. Her character also helps to see where Jay Reed has kind of taken over. Like that last scene that kind of trails into a scene I don't like as much, but when you see his interaction with her where he's like being really forceful with her, kind of grabbing her head, trying to
Mm.
like kiss her, like the way that he's so aggressive with her allows her and the audience to see how much he's really slipped, how far down the rabbit hole he's really gone. So I really like that. We talked about the cast. Cast is really good as well. The pacing
Mm.
on this movie is good. Like you watch it, I never felt like it was long watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's like clocking in like 94 minutes. It's like about an hour and a half. I don't think I've ever said this about any movie that I've seen that we've done. I feel like I could have done another 20 minutes of this movie. Like
This is a first.
I feel like right, I've never said that on
This
here.
is a first, folks.
But I feel like I would have liked to have seen like a couple more scenes of Jay Reed and Dwayne Giddens like talking, like maybe see something where he saved him or one of them saved each
Mm.
other. It's like, something that shows what their connection was like. You know what I mean? Or like a couple more scenes maybe with Jeff and Myra, or maybe Jay Reed and Myra. Just I felt like there was enough, like the editing is great because it gets you from point A to point B. But I almost felt like the ending kind of got to the ending kind of fast
Mm-hmm.
and that is good. But they could have tacked another 20 minutes. I would have been good. So
All the points CJ has raised are very pretty much on par with mine. I agree. Would have liked to. I'm going to go in reverse order. I would have liked for there to be maybe 30 minutes more to make it a 2 hour movie because the cameo by Maya, the cameo by Nas. I would have liked to see more with their characters being done. Even with Latik. Like I don't know what happened. Did he get arrested too? Is he dead? Like I don't know what
oh,
happened
it's
with
right. The
us.
characters disappear. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
he
Yeah,
just
what happened to
disappeared.
Weebay? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I
Good point. Good
I
point.
liked Hill Harper being cast as Chris Brown
Oh, yeah.
prematurely.
Pony
Um,
T.
yeah,
Pony
you know
T.
what I
Yeah.
mean. I
I feel like
liked.
he's always played that character in so many movies.
Yeah, what's his name? Booger in Above the Rim, where he
Yes,
plays.
he's always
Yeah,
played
he's always
like
like the
like
like
that
the sun
guy.
son. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I really liked just the inclusion of the diverse cast.
Hmm.
It really stood out. I like the transition of Jay Reed and as well as his main character, Cole. You could see the differences, the differentiation between the two. Um,
Hmm.
Even though and this is part of my hate, the tacky dread wig and the no mustache, no facial hair joint, um, to reinforce, to nail home the
The
point of,
differences
no, he's a
between, yeah.
different guy. But I like that he had a backstory. Hey, he comes from a traditional family,
Mm-hmm.
and his family is very proud of him and his achievements. He has an older brother. Like I think I forget my man's name, but he's from Law and Order. I really would have liked to have his older brother interact more. I would have loved to have seen more scenes with Maya, his little sister, and everything. But I get why they did what they did, fast forwarding the movie, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But the fact that he has a photography like,
Nice touch. Yeah,
yeah,
nice
definitely,
touch to
because
the
he can
character.
see certain things develop.
Mm-hmm.
However, he couldn't see what was going on with him, which leads me to my other point. The symbolism in this movie is great.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be the reference of Dwayne God Giddens, I
Mm-hmm.
gave them God, now give God a kiss, all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
blasphemous as it is, I get it. I think that's the reason why it drives home the point. I think it was I forget who said it, but it was like, if you can hate the actor who plays the character because you hate the character, that's how you know they
They're,
did a great job.
they're doing a good
And that
job.
leads me
Yep.
to LL. I was blown away when I first saw it, and I'm blown away now in 2025 of seeing him as this major drug king. Because I know he's from Queens and, et cetera, but I don't picture him as a bad guy. No,
Yeah, it's completely away
this dude
from the
is evil.
persona of LL Cool J. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no,
yeah,
I was like, LL is that.
yeah,
Put whatever superlative you want that's negative. Like, it had me hating his guts.
yeah.
And I
And it,
was,
and it reminds me, like, didn't he have that show in the house? Wasn't
yes,
it him?
it
Yeah.
was
So
in the house.
he was like quasi like
He
the
was a
Bill
caretaker.
Cosby character,
Yeah.
right? I know, right? He's tearing Cincinnati up in this joint.
I'm like, yo, he's a scourge, man. They
I
need
know,
to wipe him off the face of
I
the
know,
earth.
I
He
know.
had
He's
me
doing
hating
his
his
thing, man.
guts. He was telling them putting the gun barrel in their mouth and telling
Yeah,
them,
yeah,
I'm sitting here
yeah,
like, yo, this dude,
yeah.
and got his kid in the back.
I
Like,
know. I know.
you're
No,
wicked,
I know. He's a wild dude,
wicked.
man. Wild dude. A great villain. Great movie villain. Great
And
movie
but
villain. Salute
and
to
last,
LL for that,
yeah,
man. Great movie villain.
and last but not least, the score. And there's a difference between the score and the soundtrack that was released to the public for consumption. The score actually highlighted some of the greatest hip hop albums of all time. Mobb Deep, both Murder Music and Hell on Earth, and
Hmm.
the infamous album. Oh man, it made me really like. It harkened back to a time where you threw on some Timbs and you thought you could just stomp out the world. You threw on a
Absolutely.
hoodie and that was it. You couldn't tell you weren't on a New York State of mind type of time. Like it was. You just look at me
Absolutely.
wrong, and I want to punch you in your face just for living.
Yo, man, with the Clipse and Raekwon dropping, man, I almost went and
Woo!
bought some jean shorts and some Tims last week, man. I almost did that. You know what I mean? The jean shorts, with the little thing on the
Long
side.
joint. I almost, I almost bought myself some Carpenter jeans just for it,
You
man.
know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Get the Carhartt jacket. You remember that,
Ah,
man? Come
yes,
on,
sir.
man.
Yes, sir. Throwing the Scully in the hoodie. Meanwhile, it's
Brings
summer for us over here in
brings you
the
back,
U.S.
man. Brings you back.
Yeah, man. Definitely, definitely. Good movie though. But
Yeah.
now we're
So,
gonna
all
have to
right.
get into the dislikes, yo.
Yeah. So
Like
the
the
things you
hate.
didn't like the
Yeah,
most.
the
Yep.
hate, man.
Let me hear it, man.
Yeah, I already said it. Is the wig? I'm not with the whole prosthetic
Yeah. The J
fake
Cole.
dredge.
Yeah. Yeah. That joint was that joint was important.
No, that joint is whack, yo. Um, LL's Alias, as I've said ad nauseum,
Yeah.
I'm just not with that. It's too blasphemous. The soundtrack is whack. I
You know what? I didn't even remember. It had to be because I didn't even remember thinking about like what was on the soundtrack. Like even now, I don't even know. So good.
the
Yes.
the best song on the soundtrack is the remix to White Lines to the Mobb Deep Murder Music track
Okay.
with Little Kim on it. That's the best song, and it's the last
Oh.
song. All the other songs are throwaway tracks. The Nas with Nori with the Nature joint, nah, rubbish,
So
rubbish.
look, let me just say this really quickly. I know like many times you listen to the show, you hear Mr. Will talk about movies, and Mr. Will is a very informed I was almost say critiquer, which isn't even a word at all, but a very informed critical analyst of these movies. And I must also say though that what Mr. Will's real love is music.
Yeah,
So
man.
whatever you think he thinks about music, the scholarship that goes into that, I have to say with music, it's really on a whole different level. So the
Yeah.
critique that you're offering of this, like I have to acknowledge it, I have to respect it because it's coming from the source, which is you, and I know how much this music means to you.
Well, I appreciate that. Don't get me wrong. There are a couple of other songs on the soundtrack that made it to pop radio, to the mainstream theater, such
Hmm.
as Tear the Roof Off, Redman and Method Man, they got the
Yeah,
joint. That was
I
on the
remember that.
Blackout album. And then also The Keys to the Range by Jagged Edge. So don't get me wrong. There are a
Yeah,
couple of tracks, but I'm not the one who consumes like the commercial side of music.
yeah,
That's not my thing. When I purchase a soundtrack, I'm looking at Soul in the Hole, where it will have, a Wu
that's a
Tang
good one.
collab, you know what I mean,
Hmm.
or a Mobb Deep track that's not released on a main album. Like that's
Hmm.
what I'm looking forward to. When I saw this, and I'm like, Rowdy with 50 Cent, that's not even his best song on there. I mean, it's a young joint, but whatever. Bleeding
Yeah,
from the Mouth by CNN, Capone and Noriega. For those that think of CNN, the TV show, I'm like, that's a rat. Like
yeah, Capone
that's
and Noriega,
it's a
man.
cutting room.
Yo,
I'm I
you
was
know what I'm saying?
disappointed.
Before, way before Drink Champs. You know
That's
what
what
I
I'm
mean?
saying.
Shout
Shout out
outs to
to
Nori for,
Noriega and
yeah, for
DJ
Drink Champs,
FNN.
right?
But my thing
Yeah,
is like there could have been so much more done with this, which
yeah.
probably alludes to one of your questions, where they could have really pushed this movie
Yes, I got that though.
via the soundtrack. You know what I mean? Because that was the introduction at that time. There was no internet as we know it now.
Hmm.
There was no social media aspect as we know it now. The way that things got pushed through marketing and promotion was a soundtrack. You know,
Yeah,
uh, Deep Cover, for example, with the Snoop and Dre joint that was revisited by Big Pun, rest in power, and Fat Joe, or um, the New Jack City album. That soundtrack. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like the way that these vehicles of so-called black hood movies, ghetto movies, were heavily promoted was through the soundtrack. Just like
yeah.
with a cartoon movie a la G.I. Joe the movie or Transformers the movie, it's the toys that promoted
Hmm.
these things. So
Yeah.
the interest
Although,
in this
although I
movie.
have to say the Transformers soundtrack was fire though,
Oh
man.
yeah, yeah. And that's
Yo,
my point. That's
yo,
to my point. You
Dare,
got
and you got the
you got the
touch. Come
touch. Come
come
on,
on,
man.
man. Come
Yo,
on,
you already
man.
know what it is. You
Look,
already
man. You
know.
about to make me shed a tear, man, for my man Optimus, man.
Yes, yes.
Pour it out for Optimus Prime, man. Yo, the G Optimus. Yo, I was sad when he got killed.
Man, disrupted my whole flow. But I
Oh,
digress.
yeah.
I would have liked to have seen them do more with Nia Long's character. I wanted her
Hmm.
in more scenes, to be honest with you,
Yo, Nia Long is never wrong. I got
dude. And CJ is never wrong with that quote of Nia Long is never wrong. And then last but not least, I would have really, 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 really would have liked to have like just gotten rid of the whole confrontation with Pam Grier's character always being demeaned and just
you.
dehumanized by the Puerto Rican partner. I forget his name. Forgive me. As well as
Yeah,
Omar Epps' character. Like for her to be around these guys, she's got to be able to carry her own weight. So why not give her
yeah.
that gravitas and showing her character as maybe a support system for him, like maybe being a big sister to him or something, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
even like some type of like mentor, but I think they did her a disservice as well.
Got it. Got it. All good. All good comments, man. I agree with that as well. As far as the things I didn't like, is the scene itself. I just didn't like how they killed, how they did Frisco, man, on the pool
Uh
table. It really is a good scene. It was just never comfortable to watch,
no, no.
especially because LL is like, feel it,
Yeah.
think about
What?
it, think about it. Like, oh yo, it's like it's such a crazy scene when you
Like,
watch it, man.
yo.
But I get it, but it's just a crazy scene to watch, man. And then the other scene is the scene with J. Cole and I'm sorry, Jay. I can't call him J.
I
Cole.
know you keep calling him
Jay
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 Reed.
Reed. Sorry, you ain't no cop, Jay
You
Reed.
ain't no
Look,
cop, Jay Reed.
Jay Reed and the cops. So when the cop, that whole scene, like it just plays out really
Mm.
crazy. He pulls a gun on the cops. They
Yeah.
mace him.
Don't act
They would
stupid.
they would have shot. And I think like what they were trying to do was show how he can be harassed because he's black, even though he's a cop. I get
Mm.
it. But the execution of it is off because he actually pulls a gun on him in the middle of it,
Yeah, if you thought you were going
which
to garner any sympathy, that all
yeah,
went out the
that's
door.
that. Yeah, they kind of that scene was just kind of like they messed that up. But Other than that, man, yeah, I got you on everything else, man. Yo, let's
Yeah.
jump in. Let's jump into the questions, man. All right, so I got questions for you, man. Not and like these are perfect because we get right into the hip hop vibe with this. So, all right, first question is this: give me your top five most infamous, most infamous movie gangsters or kingpins, man. And you can pull them from all movies, all genres. Doesn't have to just be the hip hop dudes. What you got?
All right, man. So I gave this a lot of thought, a lot, because there's
It's
a
a lot of
lot
guys.
of guys. You know what I mean? So
It's a lot of
this is
guys.
not your
You could run a
list. This is not the
64. You can run a 64
yeah
bracket tournament to
yeah.
get to these
You
days.
could really run a tournament to see who's who. Now again, this is not your list. This is not the audience list. This is my list. All
Yeah,
right.
let me hear it,
So
man.
you could argue with whomever you want, audience. You just don't have to argue with me because I'm not hearing you. Def Squad quote Eric Sermon. Um, Number one, you know what? I'm gonna go in reverse order. Number
Yeah,
five,
yeah, yeah,
shout,
yeah.
shout out to the Wire again. Weebay's in the house. I'm going with Marlo Stansfield.
Oh,
I
great
think that he
villain.
was so compelling, so
Great
egotistical,
villain.
so maniacal that he had to be on my list
Great
for a
one.
multitude of
Yeah.
reasons. And shout out to Baltimore. Like his grittiness and authenticity was there.
Great villain. Yes.
Number four, my man Wesley Snipes as Nino Brown. This dude was
Oh,
cutthroat, man. He
the
killed his best man.
New Jack villain,
New
man.
Jack Hustler. Yo, shout
Yeah,
out
the
to
New
Ice
Jack
T.
Hustlers, man.
Yo, I'm telling you, man, this cat, he had me like, yo, cancel this.
Oh man, that's a great scene,
Yo,
right? With the champagne.
this
Yeah.
dude had so many. You
Pro-
could tell he really indulged in this character. Like
Prolific, man. Yes.
man, he had me
Yeah.
really. I was like, that's Blade. Like what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
And dancing hard too in that joke, man.
yo. I mean, like he went from being in the King of New York to being like an undercover cop to now being a kingpin like that.
Yeah.
He and Wesley was on fire during that period too. So
Yeah.
to have him
Mm-hmm.
be a villain who was
Yep.
always known as the heroic individual, it just blew my mind. Now we're
Yep.
gonna fast forward to the young people. All right,
Mm-hmm.
this might shock some people, but I'm going with my man Franklin Saint, Damson
Man, yeah.
Idris. Yo,
Shout outs to Franklin, man. Snowfall, great show.
great show. Franklin was in his bag, man. I
Yeah.
built this brick by brick.
Yep.
I ain't gonna let you tear this apart because you don't like another brother
Yeah. The
talk to
scene
you.
is on YouTube. Yeah, it's on
Woo,
YouTube. Great scene. Yes.
this
Yes.
dude was on fire, yo.
Yeah.
Not Mel.
You knew he was sick because he would always say, I promise you that.
Yeah.
Whenever he said that, that's when you know he was in it, man.
Woo, he was in his bag, yo.
By the way, Damson Idris, fantastic in F1.
Yeah.
So if you
Okay.
haven't seen it, yeah, really good, really strong in that too as well.
Dope. I'm gonna have to check that out. I don't want to, but I'm gonna probably have to.
Check it out, man. Strong
Uh,
referral from.
Number two is gonna surprise some folks. They probably thinking he should be at the top spot. There's so many drug kingpin references to him in every soundtrack, movie, you name it. I'm going with my man Al Pacino as Tony Montana at the
There you
number
go.
two
There
spot.
it is. Man. There it is.
Scarface.
The legend. The
I
legend.
mean,
Yeah. The jersey is in the Raptors for Tony
that's what I was
Montana.
gonna say. Like, yo,
Yeah.
he's Hall
Yeah.
of Fame first ballot. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, man. He is the epitome of what you
Yeah.
thought of when you thought drug kingpin.
Yeah. He's like the logo. He's like the Jerry West
Yeah, he's the
movie
logo.
of movie drug dealers. Is Tony Montana. Yeah.
Yes. Now, this may be controversial. I've been saying this, but number one for me, and all
I
due
already know who
respect,
you know. I know who it is.
all
I
due
know.
respect to Courtney, and
I know.
shout out to 50, James Jamie St. Patrick,
I knew
aka
you was gonna
with
go
the
at that.
best criminal name of all time, Ghost.
Yes,
This
of course.
dude, yo, when Ghost got the beard,
Yeah, at the end,
yo,
yeah.
he really
Yep.
turned into something terrible,
Yeah.
like
He was
something.
trying to become a politician.
Woo, and just another form of a criminal, yo. Some might argue.
How about that?
I'm just saying, this dude was in his bag, man,
Mm-hmm.
and that's Will's top five for the most for the most highly decorated villains of all time.
Great list. Great list, man. Every one of those, phenomenal.
Yo,
All right.
but you ain't off the hook, man. Who you
Oh,
work with?
I don't even like movies about drug dealers. I can't. No, it's fun. You know what, man? When I ask the questions, I don't actually even think about answers. I would have to
Word.
spend too much time. Yeah, I'd have spent too much time.
Okay,
Yours are perfect, man. I'm moving on to the next one.
got you.
All right. So here's the thing. What 90s hip hop album
Oh, this is easy. This is
Would you choose to have been the soundtrack for this movie In Too Deep?
yo. Shout out to Queensbridge right now, yo. It was a toss up. You know, I was really thinking Illmatic,
Mm-hmm.
but then I was like, nah, it graduated to Mob Deep, Rest in Power Prodigy, the infamous.
Got to be. Got to
Yo,
be. Got to be.
just
Yo, got
just
to be.
I don't have to say anything else other than it's infamous.
Right. The
It's
infamous. I
infamous.
mean, dog, the infamous made me think I was a gangster. You know what I'm saying? I absolutely was not. Yeah.
Yo,
The infamous, man.
classic. Five
Come
nights.
on. Come
Easily.
on, man.
Easily.
Come on, man.
I,
That
to this day, I say it has the best. I know, but I'm gonna say it. It has the best opening song to an album ever. I don't care what album you want to bring up. I love the Woo, greatest group of all time, end of 36. No, the start of your ending. That's how the joint
started.
jumps off.
Yeah. Starting ending is tough. Now I have to say that's a tough comment from you,
I
man,
know.
because
Now I've given it 20 years of thought, man.
yeah, you've thought about so like what about like didn't the Wu Tang double CD start with
That's what I'm
Triumph?
saying. No, it did not, though. That's the
It didn't
thing.
start with Triumph. No, that was the first video
That
they
was the
did. Yeah,
first
you're right.
video,
Yep. Yeah,
but it
you're
wasn't
right.
the
Okay.
first
Yeah, the
song on the
start
album.
start of your end. How about that?
Yeah.
Start your ending Mob Deep. All right. Yo, all right. So yeah, you and your bag on this one. All right. Last question, man. Now
Mm-hmm.
this one you're gonna have to really, we're gonna see what you really think now. I'm gonna put you in your
Mm-hmm.
casting call moment.
Yeah.
All right. So this movie is remade. Let's say they decided to remake In Too Deep 2025, right? They call you up because you're the expert. They say, Mr. Will, we need to cast Dwayne Giddens, Jay Reed, Myra, Breezy T, and Preston. Who are you casting in those roles 2025?
You know, I gave this a lot of thought. Oh, and shout out to Scarface. He's my '90s rapper that I would wanted to see as an actor. I think he could have done some
Oh, I might have
things.
jumped over that one.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, no,
cool.
no,
Thank
no
you.
worries, no worries. But shout out to him, and I hope he's recovering from his kidney replacement surgery. So I hope he's in
Absolutely.
good health. But
Absolutely.
yeah, getting into the question. This is my favorite question that CJ's gotten. CJ's asked me a lot of questions thus far, but this might be my favorite question. So if I'm recasting right now
Mm-hmm.
and I'm the casting director,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go in reverse order. All right. So as
Okay.
Preston, you know, the older grizzled, you know, detective who is the mentor figure, the
Mm-hmm.
paternal figure, I'm going with one of the guys we've already done countless movies on,
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey Wright. He,
Interesting. Okay, so Press is black now. Black
yeah,
Preston.
nah, I'm
Okay.
switching it up.
Okay. Jeffrey
And
Wright.
I'm
Yeah,
not even
definitely.
seeing color in this. I'm just seeing like,
He can
yo,
hold it down. No,
here's
it's getting
somebody who can be the definition of a nuanced, tired but determined law enforcement agent.
yep.
He's really bringing a weight, a gravitas to this role because we've seen him be everything under the sun. I think,
Everything.
you know,
Incredible actor.
and he's already played James Gordon, so I'm like, yo, I think
Right. Right.
he would do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Breezy T. So you know, you're talking about a streetwise hustler. You know, real slick
Mm-hmm.
with his mouth. You know, but he's also like the comic relief. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
he's deadly when he's pushed though. You know what I mean? So he too is nuanced. I'm going with Joey Badass, man. From his role
Oh,
on,
I like that. I
so
like
so
shout
you
out
got
very, very good pick. Now
yeah,
that's
and
nice.
he's an
I like that.
underrated rapper too. And shout out to him actually
Yes.
taking on a bunch of dudes like just for the sake of battling in hip hop on
Mm-hmm.
that just happened to be on the West Coast. But he gets busy.
Now is
But
now is he the one that's got the thing on Netflix, where it's like a Groundhog Day thing with him
yeah,
and the
yeah, that's
cop?
him.
And
That's him.
that's
Yeah,
really good.
and that
Yeah. Yeah. I need to
and the
remember what
cop
that's
is the
called.
same cop from Limitless that Bradley
Yes, the guy
Cooper's
who plays the
character
Russian
gets.
dude. Yep.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Russian
Yeah.
dude. So shout out to
Yeah.
him too. But yeah, no. So from that show, that short film, all the way
Very
to
good.
Mr. Robot, where he really killed, and then also to
Yeah.
him being in Power, Book 3. Some people may not watch it, but yo,
Yeah. I
he
don't know why.
really
Yeah. After
kills
they
in it.
killed Ghost, man, I was like, man,
Nah,
forget
no,
y'all.
no.
Yeah.
Joey gets busy, man. I mean,
Okay.
like yo,
All
he
right.
should win an award for his portrayal. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he's one of the reasons why I actually tune in. Now we got to go with the love interest, so we go with Myra, and I think she's a
Okay.
very smart but yet grounded person who she's unaware that there's a deeper thing going on, and for
Mm-hmm.
her, this also caters to the younger audience. I'm going with Kiki Palmer. She's versatile. So if you've seen her in Nope,
Mm.
you know what I mean. She can be
Yeah,
emotionally
that's right. Yeah, very
intelligent.
good note. Yep,
You know what I
yep,
mean?
yep,
Because
yep.
that was one of the things with Nia Long. She's emotional, but
Very
she's
good. Yeah,
emotionally intelligent. She
yeah.
doesn't
Nia Long
spaz
is
out
never
or
wrong.
anything.
So, yeah, I
Yeah,
got you.
and she's capable of bringing a very warmth and steel, a very firmness when needed. So she's able to,
Yeah.
make that delineation. She can be
Yep.
coddling, but yeah, she can hold him accountable. Now
Very nice pick.
we're going with Jay Reed. The undercover cop who's torn
Hmm.
between one foot in,
Hmm.
one foot out. We just spoke about him. I don't know the correct pronunciation, but Damson
Idris. Yeah.
Idris, I'm going with him. And the
Very
reason
good.
being
Yeah.
is, he showed that he can carry an entire series with Snowfall. He's got
Absolutely.
the intensity, he's got the
Absolutely.
emotional depth, he's got the streetwise, version. He could play that someone who's living a double life. He did it with
Hmm.
Franklin. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then, of course, now we got to the tent pole. Like this whole world kind of like is predicated upon you having somebody that pushes the hero. Shout
Hmm.
out to Zarface. Every good hero needs an evil villain. Um,
True.
Now, you got the crime boss, the central figure. Even though they're messing him up in Blade, shame on you, Marvel. I'm going with Mahershala Ali. I
Oh man,
I
that would
think
be a good. This is fantasy casting right here. This is good stuff,
I
man.
think that he can be menacing.
That's
Yeah,
good.
he
Yo,
can be strategic,
yo,
and he's refined. You know what I mean?
yo.
So everything that the Wire had that was split up between, the two different pivotal
Yeah, Avon
characters.
Barksdale and
Yeah,
Stringer Bay.
Barksdale. Yeah,
Stringer Bell,
and
sorry, yeah.
Stringer Bell. I think he embodies that all in one, and that's what you need. You need a charismatic dude who could switch. That's what made LL so compelling, man.
Yo, that's an amazing fan cast. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put that on the
Mm.
threads page, man. Let people weigh in on that because that's a really good one. And Mahershala Ali, I
Oh.
love that as the pick. I love that because of his range
Mm-hmm.
and his ability. I would just and also, I don't even think if this were to come out in 2025, it would be a movie. I think this is a show.
Yo,
This is like
yeah.
an ongoing
Ooh.
drama, which will really give all the
Yo,
characters
somebody out there better
a
put some
chance
paper
to
behind
really,
us. Don't be
yeah.
stealing our thoughts, yo.
You know what I'm saying? Well, Steve Flores came up with it first, man. Give us our props.
Just saying. We could,
All right,
yo.
man.
You know what, man? This has really got me convinced that we should put something out, man. If we put some money behind us, we could deliver. I'm just
No,
saying.
we need to create a meme coin. That's what it is. Sticky
Yo,
coin or something like
yeah, right.
that. That's how you get the money now, man. You
Yeah, we get your
create
own
the
coin.
create the coin, yeah, create the coin, and then rug pull people, man. Like it's been happening. That's the quick investment. The
That's
investment.
the quick flip now.
The
Okay.
Ponzi scheme play. That's how people do it. But
Uh,
anyways, though, all right, man. You got some questions for me?
yeah, I got a question for you. 5 of them. All right, let's go.
All right, I'm here.
Top 5 Omar Epps movies.
All right, so look, top five. So let me go to my list here, man, because all right, so I got at number five, I got the program.
Okay.
Number five, I got the program, which by the way we covered on the show. I don't remember the episode right now, but we covered it. That was like our sports thing. We did it
Yeah.
last year, just about this time last year. I love this character in there, Malik. What I mean, they kind
Yeah.
of dragged him a little bit, but I liked him in that. Number four, I got In Too Deep.
Mm-hmm.
Gato, it's just I just think he does a great job. Omar Epps does a great job
Yeah,
in
he
this
does.
film of just playing really two different kinds of characters, and
Mm-hmm.
then how he plays off against LL Cool J. Number three, I got Love and Basketball, probably
Ooh,
one
okay.
of the great black romance
Yeah,
films of
yeah,
all
yeah.
time, man. Yeah, definitely like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I'm taking Higher Learning.
Shout out to Lawrence
Really,
Fishburne.
really, really like that movie. Like Higher Learning, I just remember being in a theater watching that and that being me thinking what I thought college was going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah,
I
same
thought
here.
college was going to be, and just the care that was went into creating that story and his character's journey through there,
Mm-hmm.
with the skinheads and everything.
Yeah.
It's great,
I
great
make
joint,
you my
man.
monkey, Malik.
Right, Malik joint, the Malik joint, right? And then last but not least, man, number one, I mean, just for the way that the movie makes me feel every time I see it, and it always comes on like BET now all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Juice. Like
Oh, come on,
to
man.
see like
Doom, doom,
Q
doom, doom, doom,
Q
doom.
and Bishop, man, and just the
Rest in
whole
power,
thing.
Tupac.
Yo, every time I see it, it just snatches me back to being like a kid. And I feel like Juice probably for like maybe our generation felt like the first real hip hop movie. You know
Another
what I
classic
mean? And
soundtrack.
classic soundtrack, and it's just such a it's just a certain nostalgia that comes with it. So that's my
Mhm.
number one, man. That's my
Dope,
top five.
dope. And you know what, CJ, you made another good point, man. The scene where he pulls out the gun, that's basically 7 years later. Sean Bell.
Yeah.
He's I'm an off duty cop. I'm an off
Yes.
duty
Yeah.
cop.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
same scenario. So that foreshadowing as well in real life.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Number two, in the film, Giddens uses a lot of religious imagery, even with his
Hmm.
name, to manipulate his followers. How does
Hmm.
this blend of spirituality and criminology reflect, a broader social theme or social themes?
Yeah. Here's the thing, and once again, this gets to the authenticity of the story. If you grew up in a black community, right, people always say that there's a close, almost like a razor thin line between the pastor and the pimp,
Mm,
right? People see those two people as having a similar persona, right? And granted, one might be trying, one is trying to get you into the church, other one is trying to get you to the corner, but it's like that mentality is there, right? And this character kind of is in that place because, like, to your point, he is doing these good things like feeding people at Thanksgiving, and he is, you know, giving people money, and he is doing things for the kids, and then he's also destroying the parents, and he's beating people with cutting people's tongues out, and he's doing all these other
tell
things.
him to finish the job yourself.
Right. And oh, that's crazy. Crazy. That's a crazy scene. As an introduction to a character, an amazing way of immediately letting you know how terrified somebody is. But I think that's the thing. Like there's this and it's also plays into, I think, the idea of the way that the character of Dwayne Giddens, probably his understanding of God for him
Mm,
is one that is in some ways um giving and in some ways very violent and wrathful.
mm.
So
Old
it lines
Testament.
up. Yeah, it lines up with the way that that character kind of probably perceives himself and the God of his understanding.
CJ has been hitting home runs after home run on something like Barry Bonds, Babe Ruth type joint. Hank
That's
Aaron,
funny.
yo.
That's
Oh
funny.
man. All right. So how does the film comment on the idea of masculinity? In
Mm.
particular, how does this lens of Jeff and Giddens fully display itself on scene?
So here's the thing, man, and I got to give it to you. Actually, you hit on something that is really interesting about the characters and shows their, I would say, some of the deficits of their masculinity. Actually,
Okay.
is in the way that they relate to the female characters around them. So if you see it, like, even from the very beginning, when you see like LL's character, he comes in immediately, he intimidates that woman, he scares her, when he scares her when he
Yeah.
cuts the guy's tongue out. Then you see his relationship with the lady, I forgot, the one who ends up making being with Jay Reed for
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
second, and she
yeah, yeah.
gets strung out. But it's like, even with her, he's kind of listening, but he's really taking advantage of her.
Yes.
He's offering her to give her drugs, even though she says she's trying to get off him. It's
Yeah.
a very exploitative relationship. And then you see how he treats her at the end when he puts a gun in her mouth and all that kind of stuff. You see, like, there's this way that he has a way of treating the female characters around him. It's very, like, very abusive and very
Very.
transactional, right? Juxtapose that with Jay Reed's character. As Jay Reed kind of moves closer to the LL kind of God character, you see his relationship with Myra. He tries to force her to kiss him. You talk about the way that he was dealing with Pam Grier's character. He doesn't start off like that in the beginning,
No.
but at the end, as he makes that transition, he gets to that way. So it's something about the way that those characters are. They lose the ability. They lose like a sense of empathy,
Mm.
and maybe that's a byproduct of living in that lifestyle. But for both of them, you see it reflected the most in the way that they're treating the women in their lives, and then you also see it in the way that they kind of treat the men. Because even like LL's relationship with everybody around him is very, he tries to scare all of them and intimidate all of them. And then Jay Reed kind of, he realizes that, but then he starts trying to manipulate the dudes by like kind of giving them money and everything. and saying like, yo,
Just
you
off of
know,
the love,
right, exactly. But
what I gotta do
it's
for
like
it? Give me your number.
I don't to and for both of them, I don't know that you can be how can you be healthy in an environment like that?
Can't.
How can you be healthy, you know, when you're dealing with literal thieves and killers and drug dealers? You know what I mean? How can you possibly you can't be healthy. So their concept of masculinity is gonna be skewed because everybody around them is skewed and you can't be in constant fight or flight mode all the time
No.
and be a healthy person. So that's what I think.
No, and definitely shout out to Veronica Webb who plays Pam in this joint,
Yes,
and
yes, yes, yes,
a
yes.
dude on the low, Robert Lizardo, who always plays like the evil Spanish drug dealer dude. In
Oh
this
yeah, he
case, he was
does. Yeah,
Flea.
yeah,
He has the thick
yeah.
goatee now, but
Uh
you
huh.
wouldn't
Uh huh.
recognize him because he has all the tattoos now and a bald head.
Yep.
But shout out to those two actor and
Yep.
actresses. Um,
Yep.
Now, my next question for you, CJ, is this, man. What does In Too Deep suggest about the personal costs of being a person about justice and wanting to bring about, respect, honor, and things of that nature, in a system that relies on moral ambiguity? How does those tactics differentiate themselves from it? Can Jeff be considered a hero in this? Is he just another victim of a broken system? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, like the thing about just imagine like the idea of saying we want to create justice by lying to people. Like and just think about that. Like there's the idea of any tactic is legitimate when you're trying to
Mm.
stop someone from doing something illegitimate. It we all kind of I think we believe it and we buy into it in a certain
Mhm.
extent. But it's like it's weird when it kind of gets flipped a little bit. Like
Mm.
when LL finds out that Jay Reed is a cop, he's like, he doesn't even get mad. He's
Mm-mm.
not cursing at him. He's hurt. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, I was there for you, Jay Reed. All I try to do was be there for you, dog. That's it. Like he's hurt that this person lied to him.
He literally shot a bad guy in
That
the back who tried to
right.
shoot
He
him right
saved
before he
his
got
life.
arrested.
Right. Like he invited him to his child's like thing.
The baptism.
The
No, in a
baptism, right.
church.
Right. Like so like he for him, like, you know, there's the whole thing, like there's no honor amongst thieves, but at the same time, there is a code of ethics.
Mm-hmm.
And ironically, the code of ethics is something that Jay Reed violates from that perspective. And yet that perspective violates a bunch of these other codes that, you know, the other side disagrees with. So it's funny. Like I remember there was this lady I knew once, man, and she told me once, she was like, she dated cops and she dated criminals. And she was like, I'm gonna tell you, it's not much different between the two.
Go
And I always
figure.
remember that. I always remember that. And when you watch it, movies like this just kind of highlight that. And obviously, we know the difference between right and wrong and all those things, but it's probably a razor thin line and it probably depends a lot on your perspective.
That is tough right there. And I'm going to take that away from. I'm going to take that with me too. There's no difference between the cops.
Cops are good. Yeah, she told me that. I remember I was like,
Wow.
oh,
That's
really?
my last question for you. At what point in the film do you think Jeff becomes in too deep? Was it a singular moment? Was it a progression, a gradual descent? And how does the film handle the irreversible consequences of his choices?
Yeah, the movie, I'll start with the last part. I think the movie doesn't really lean too much into that. And I think knowing the story it's based on, if it would have said at the end, you know, Jeff Cole killed himself like 3 years later, like that would have probably been a
Mm-hmm.
downer for the story because it definitely tries to end on a high
Yeah,
note. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
get that part. But I don't think that you can spend like, you know, a year, 6 months, whatever, doing that and then be like, oh, I'm good now. I'm gonna go to
Mm-hmm.
Chicago and be all right. No, I don't think that that's what you can do there. As far as like the point where I think he really kind of went off the edge
Mm-hmm.
was the scene where him and Preston are talking, and he's actually talking about how,
Yeah, I could take
oh,
over.
I could take over, man. I could run the whole thing. And Preston's kind of looking at him like, okay, oh word, like have you talked to Myra lately? And like to your point, like he does a good job kind of reeling them in without
Yeah.
being like, sir, this is your job. You're not we didn't set you up to take over the Cincinnati drug game. That's not the job description. The job description is put people in jail, not become the reason why people go to jail. But that's like when he said it, it's like he just clearly he lost perspective. And yeah, that's where I thought it was. That's where I thought it happened.
Because that was right after the conversation where he was like, yo, we could run all of Ohio.
Yeah,
And
I know.
Ohio's a
Yeah.
big state.
Right, right.
We could
Right.
run drugs
A
throughout
lot
the
of depression there too, man. A lot of
yeah.
Browns and Bengals fans.
Steeler shots. What? This dude,
Bang
yo.
bang, bang bang. Oh man.
Yo. Oh man. So with that being said, I don't condone any of that. I am a Raiders fan. I don't
Well, clearly, dog, you
admire
wear Oakland
aficionado.
Raiders stuff every week, man.
I don't.
Like
I'm only worried
no
about
one's
us. I ain't worried
no
about
one's
nobody
ever gonna
else.
mistake you
I'm not
for
taking
anything other
shots
than
at
the
the
Raiders
Browns and
fan.
the Bengals, yo. We got our
Okay.
own stuff we dealing with.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we're gonna go with the popcorn, which are sold at various concession stands. What you
Mm-hmm.
giving this joint, man?
Yo, four boxes of popcorn. It's a good film.
Mm.
It's a good movie. It's a lot of fun to watch. The casting and the acting is really good and solid. Four boxes, man.
And you know what,
4 out of
man?
5.
CJ convinced me. I was gonna go with 3, then 3.5. When he talked about the biographical, evidence behind it and everything,
Mhm.
boosted up to 4 for me, man. I'm
Four
going with 4
boxes.
boxes.
There it is, man. Definitely strong recommendation from the good people at Sticky
Yes,
Floors, man.
sir.
So look, man, on my hot take, man, it actually ties back to one of the questions you asked me. Yo, I don't think that Omar Epps gets enough props, man, for
Mm.
the actor that he is, the movies that he's been in. We talked about some of those films. Also, long run on House. It was on House from like
Yeah.
04 to 12.
Yeah, he
Like,
was.
yeah, like a good character on there. I don't know what Omar Epps is doing right now. I know he's got a couple things coming out. Hope he's doing well, man, because I would say that I have never. This is the black culture moment here for a second. So this is the inner circle. So if you know, you know. I don't think I have ever talked to a black person who has not seen Love and Basketball, Higher Learning, and Juice. I have not. I have yet to talk to a black person anywhere, anytime since those movies came out that has not seen not one, not two, but all three of those films. They are just a staple of like black cinematic culture that you watch those three films. Juice, like I said, for everybody, that was just the intro to like that time, and Tupac was amazing in it. Higher Learning, John Singleton film, also with Ice Cube in it, Lawrence Fishburne,
Buster
Tyra
Rhymes,
Banks, Buster Rhymes.
Michael
Think about all the people.
Rappaport.
Think about all the people you know who can just quote parts from that movie all the time because that's how just much it sticks with you. And then Love and Basketball, one of the great black romance stories of all time, right? With like a nice little foreshadowing to the WNBA and the prominence that it would have, but just a really good story with a lot of really interesting dynamics. And it has Sanaa Lathan in it, which is also you're never wrong with Sanaa Lathan in your movies either. Not quite as much as if you always have Nia Long, because as you know, Nia Long is never wrong. But the point is, that's my hot take is that Omar Epstein deserves more credit, more props, and I would say he's got 3 films that every black person I know has ever seen.
And to your point, Higher Learning also had Christy Swanson in it and Cole
Mhm.
Hauser. So for all the people that watch those Western
Yeah, yeah,
joints with
yeah, yeah.
Christian with Kevin Costner,
Hmm.
there's another thing, man.
And we know you're a big Westerns fan.
And Jennifer Connelly was in that joint, man. So I'm just
Hmm.
saying, definitely a good joint. You should definitely go see that joint if you haven't.
Yeah, we
Uh,
got Higher Learning. We might have to get into it
yeah,
at some
man.
point, man.
Um,
But yeah, man, what you got?
I
Hot
got
take.
8 quick joints. I don't care what you have to say. This is what it is. The movie walked so that Training Day could run. The moral
Okay.
ambiguity, the tension, the blurred lines. That's what you get. And in between that, you got deep cover. LL Cool J's portrayal of Dwayne Giddens is one of the most underrated villains performances of the 90s. And he was done a disservice because he should be in more movies, not just CSI, LA, or whatever it
Oh,
is that you
sure,
got
sure.
going on over there. He's scarier than a Bond villain and more believable than a crime boss on any type of prestigious TV show. Um,
Mhm.
the name or moniker alias of God is the craziest nickname ever for anybody. I don't care, drug lord, whatever. That joint is bonkers.
Thank God Giddens, yeah.
The final confrontation between Jeff and Dwayne is less about the crime and more about the spiritual redemption and reckoning that you have in almost every in this movie or any movie for that matter. It's a very unforgettable scene. Um, LL proved that he had a serious career as a dramatic actor, and I think that
In this movie.
was derailed.
Agreed.
I don't know why. all I see is him as that chef in the movie with the shark killing Sam Jack. That's where I see him at. What is it? Deep water, deep
Oh,
sea,
I know. Yeah,
deep blue
deep,
sea.
deep. Yeah, yeah. That's right. He was in
Yeah,
that.
you know what I mean. He's the
Yeah,
chef.
yeah.
And I think they
He
put him
was
in
in
there
that.
because they were like, "Yo, we already killed off one black guy. We got to have another black guy to live throughout the entire movie."
That's right. I forgot all about
Yeah.
that, man. Yeah, that's a
Uh,
good one. Huh.
Undercop movies usually glamorize, the profession of being a police officer. But this showed the very terrifying truth. Like I said, it talked about the Sean Bell incident. It talked about the trauma that these individuals undergo, and why a
Mm-hmm.
case could be made where in these high intensified situations, why it is shoot first, ask questions last, and how you're dealing with a different form of PTSD that veterans get in combat, military veterans, that is. It's very similar here. It's just a very suburban, urban warfare type of deal.
Yeah, I
Um,
also like how they showed like he became a teacher for other
yep, yep,
undercover cops and just the experiences that he
yep.
brought to it. So yeah,
And then Into Deep is a capsule, like CJ mentioned, of the '90s, from the
it is.
soundtrack to the clothing, the very authenticity. Just that dynamic of what it is with the street politics. I mean, Nas is on the corner, and he really resembles a corner boy.
The corner
And
boy.
then
Yeah,
the guy coming up with the knife. Not every guy
yeah,
has a
just
gun. You know what I mean? Like, so
mhm.
they pick whatever tool of the trade they have, and then really picking up the drugs elsewhere and carrying the money elsewhere, being separate. And then last but not least, CJ mentioned it before, the pacing of the film is slept on. You really get into the heart of the movie, and you get to see really what's going on, and they manage to build up certain characters so you understand their rationale and their being behind it.
There it is, and there it is, man. So look, so that is our breakdown of the movie Into Deep, 1999 classic. I watched this on Amazon.
Yep.
I don't know if it's on another network. If it
Uh,
is, yeah, if it's on something for free, free is always good. But
yeah.
if not, it is it is on
Free 99.
Amazon
Free
for you to see
99.
it. Yeah, you can get it on Amazon for $3.99. It's not free, but $3.99. It'll be
Mm-hmm.
on there. Next week we will be back with something right in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
We gonna deal with the Fantastic Four
Woo,
first
I can't
steps.
wait, man.
So we dipping our toes back in the comic book movie realm once again. And the Sticky Floors podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Apple Podcasts, we are on Spotify Podcasts, we are on YouTube Podcasts, where we're asking you to subscribe to whichever platform works best for you. Also, we got a Facebook page too, we got a Threads page. Check it out. A lot of times we're going to continue the discussion of things we're talking